Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Mates episode. It's great to be back with you all on this beautiful Monday morning here in Australia. I mean, I've had a bit of rain over the weekend, Craig. You might have had a bit of a rain over the weekend too, so it's not exactly beautiful. We're heading into a little bit of a winter period now here in Australia, but I was just chatting to a new member in GTG about how yeah, he's also, that's like the third or fourth greenie in the greenie GTG community, which is pretty insane to think about. It's a common name, and it's a common last name in Australia. But I'm still wearing shorts, and we're heading into winter in about 6 days' time. So we're pretty lucky here because I know Sexy, his base is Sweden, and his winters are like negative 20 degrees. It's like we are pretty lucky to live where we live. So GM to everyone, good to see you, Rocky. Hope you're doing well, and appreciate all the kind words, Rocky, as well. Craig, mate, how was your weekend? Lots happened. As is in the title, guys, we'll get into it today. The altcoins continue to thrive in the AI sector. Hyperliquid also hits a new all-time high. Serve hits a new all-time high. VVV hits a new all-time high. We've been talking about these tokens for a while on the channel, so it's great to see them continue to thrive. So we'll be touching in on that. And obviously, as I said before, the war apparently is coming to a resolution as oil dumps 5% this morning. Is this yet again a market tactic by Trump to manipulate markets, or is this actually going to come to fruition? We'll have to wait and see what happens this week. Sailor decides not to buy Bitcoin this week, Craig. I saw that this morning too. He bought bonds instead because the 30-year bonds are up. The 10-year bonds are up. What an underwhelming post. Like, why the hell would you even post that, legend? But anyways, Craig, we'll dive into obviously all the content, all the stuff very shortly. But Craig, how are you doing, mate, on this Monday morning? How's your weekend?
GM, everyone. Yeah, man, weekend was good. I unplugged a bit. I spent a bit of time with the family, so I was hanging out with my son. We were playing video games. We were binging a bit of One Piece for those One Piece fans out there. A bit of an anime with about 1,000 episodes. So we've got a long way to go. We're up to like episodes 580 or something. So yeah, we've got a long way to go. But that was pretty cool. Yeah, dude, I had a hammer down here on the weekend. Like rained so hard, like almost flooding, man.
Wait. Oh. Rocky says no sound. No, I've got you. Just really? Confirming. I should be. Yeah, I've got you. I heard you.
Can you hear me good? Can you hear me?
I've got you. I've got you, dude. Yeah, okay, I've got you. All good. Okay, sorry. Repeat. How's your weekend? How's your family? All that stuff.
Yeah, good, man. Good. Thanks, guys. I'll start again. Yeah, watch One Piece. That was great. Watched heaps of sport. Watched heaps of footy. That was cool. Actually, dude, did heaps around the house, man. Like, did heaps. This is boring for everyone, but it did heaps of yard work, Greenie. So that's something you got to look forward to pretty soon. Yeah. Heaps of yard work after all that rain. I sort of did a bit of cleanup and then I bucketed down again. So I was like, for F's sake. But anyway, my garden's looking immaculate, dude. You could have a game of lawn bowls in my garden. It looks beautiful. So that was nice. Nice. And then I checked the markets yesterday a little bit, and I see there's a mini bull market still going for those altcoins. So we'll speak about this a bit later, but I was looking for entries. I'm not getting them, so we're going to have to look for shallow pullbacks rather than deep pullbacks on those. Those aren't going to pull back too big, I don't think, until the end. So we can chat about that. Yeah, heard about Trump maybe chilling out on the wall. That was nice. But other than that, I'm good, man. Looking forward to the gym today, smashing my food, feel healthy. So now just got to get into some of these coins and get some profit, and then I'll be a happy man, dude. That's all I need is some profit, Greenie. That's all that's missing now.
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting time. Like I'm quite bearish on Bitcoin, I'm going to say. I genuinely think it's playing out a corrective move on a medium to high time frame. And I would agree with Ethereum and Solana. We can have a look at those because we probably haven't looked at the charts in a bit of detail for a while. We've spoken about them in general, but not intently looking at them. So perhaps we can do that on today's show as well. When you've got like things like Near and even Ondo as well, which excuse me, I read a bit about Ondo. I don't know if you've looked into it. It's like a real an RWA play. But apparently the foundation, like Ethereum, are just dumping tokens. I don't know. I need to really look into it because it's one of the outperformers off the lows, and it fits that RWA narrative. But if you've got foundation or early investors just dumping tokens every week into the pump, well then I don't know if it's that bullish for the long term. So anyways, we'll look into that maybe in future episodes. But point being, crude oil has dumped this morning. So just saying, this is literally only an hour ago. So this is breaking news, guys. Brent crude oil falls 5% as the US and Iran negotiate deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the war. Craig, I swear we've read this 20 times over the past few weeks. On the back of that, the big one, the big talking point was probably this one here: nuclear weapons. So the Iran representative, my policy, like President Trump's policy, remains unchanged. Iran will not have nuclear weapons. Basically, Trump and I agreed that any final agreement with Iran must remove nuclear threats. So that's obviously the big one, I think. And based on that, this morning it looks as though we saw a $6 drop in Brent oil, so that's about a 6% move, maybe a little bit less. So I don't know, Craig. It's hard to know whether this is all like legit. Like, you know what he's like. He's a manipulator, and we've seen that like observedly now for since before he even got into office, he was manipulating things and changing stories and all that sort of stuff way back with Biden and stuff, even back in 24, 23. What are your thoughts here? Like, do you genuinely think this is coming to a resolution? How does that actually what occurs from here? Like, do you think that's, let me turn off Telegram. Like, what do you think happens from here? Is this like, is it good and we move on to new, bigger and better things? Like, talk to me through the process. GM to you, Hugo. GM to you as well. Nut God, good to see you in the chat, and Poe Babe as well. Good to see you as well in YouTube. Yeah, what are your thoughts here, Craig?
Man, it's hard. It's tough. Like, I'd like to say this is good news and it looks like a resolution's coming, but I mean, he's been saying this, like you said, he said this so many times. The news has said this so many times. The good news is I think everyone's slowly getting numb to it, well, market-wise. Kind of like I mean, ideally, I just want this gone. I mean, let alone the actual war side of it. Of course, we want that gone, but just from the news optics point of view, the sooner that we can get this out of the market, the better. It's pretty frustrating, dude. It's pretty frustrating that this is to and fro. Like, how long have we been speaking about this? Like, honestly,
it's
3
Feb.
months, 2 months.
Was it Feb? Yeah, I think it was Feb.
Yeah, it just feels like forever now. It's like, God, can the market just... Anyway, nothing. I mean, admittedly, the chart on Bitcoin doesn't really... Like, if I was to look at the chart and you asked me where there was a war, I wouldn't really be able to point it out. Like, it's not like there was a massive FTX drop, if you know what I'm saying, where you go, okay, there's COVID, there's FTX. You can point things out. On the Bitcoin chart, if I see to you point out where the war is, I don't know, with Iran, I don't know if you really could. Like, it's moving it's adhering to the fib levels pretty well. It's not just like plummeting. So from a Bitcoin chart perspective, it hasn't been catastrophic. But then I guess by the time the news of the war came, we already were on a downtrend. So maybe, you know, it sped it up slightly, but not much. But yeah, dude, I want this gone. I'm over it. To answer your question a bit shorter, is this over with now? I don't know, dude. Probably not. Like, going by what he said in the past. I hope so. That's probably the best I can say, is I hope so, for everyone's sake, for the people there, for the Americans. Like, they probably want it gone now too, dude. Like, imagine spending large amounts of money on overseas wars these days, bro.
But
Like,
that's literally like America, though. They've done that for ages, right?
The war machine must roll on.
Dude, that's how they make money. That's how they make money. Like, as awful as that sounds, that's literally how they make a lot of money.
It is. Unfortunately, their economy kind of relies on it to a certain degree, to a big degree, actually. So it's not great, but it's an interesting time in the market. Like, it's quite a strange time. It's like Bitcoin's obviously, from what I can see, and I think you've got the same lines drawn up as me, Greeny, almost like identical, bro. Like, those ascending wedges for me, just for me, this screams continuation to the downside, chart wise. I just think this looks like momentum's to the downside. We're going lower, but as you and I have been covering, and you more exclusively, there are some pockets of bullishness or like bull runs happening within this bear market. So as much as we sort of talking quite negatively here, there is coins doing really well, and AI stuff is kind of shrugging all this off, which is kind of, man, if it wasn't for those, man, where would we be trading?
Crypto, like, I think crypto would be very bearish if it wasn't for AI.
Dude. Like, there's nothing.
Hyperliquid, genuinely.
Yeah, sorry,
genuinely.
Hyperliquid. Yep, good call. So other than that, and then obviously the base AI plays, you'd be scratching your head looking for something to talk about. So it's actually I'm kind of thankful for it, even though I'm sidelined and kind of seething on it. Man, I'm just thankful there's some green in the market, and actually just shows me there is money there there is opportunities out there. And if you take the time, like we've spoken about, you can make money even in this bear market. So hats off to Greeny for obviously, pulling up Serve and probably VVV, if that's how you say it as well. Those two have been rippers, dude. Like, absolute. Those have probably been the best two coins. Oh, that and Hyperliquid. Those three, really, isn't it? Have just bucked the bear market. So great to see. Further down for Bitcoin, but AI plays. Maybe we can make a lot of money over there for the next 3 to 6 months. Whatever.
I want to talk about that. We spoke about it a bit last week, and I think this is something that I'm coming to terms with and it's even like, I know another great trader on the timeline, Chase. He's a great crypto Chase, fantastic follow, highly recommend him. Followed him for years. He basically summed up what I've been feeling for a while now, and he put it from a trader and an investor's standpoint. It's like, if you look at the way Bitcoin has behaved in these macro conditions, and even to go on Mark Cuban's point last week, like, it has underperformed when the market conditions have done nothing but thrived. My point I always have said is, like, ultimately, you can't expect price to continue going up after it's been up for like a 2-year period, being from 23 to 2025. Like, it sustainably can't, even though the S&P, the S&P wasn't as lucrative during that period of time, right? So that's why it's pumped even more. Plus, the S&P has far more liquidity. We're talking trillions and trillions of dollars, okay? Whereas Bitcoin and crypto is still very much a speculative asset class and only has billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? Point being, it's underperformed compared to Hyperliquid so substantially that it really makes me hard, Craig, to even worry about buying any Bitcoin. It generally makes me want to find some of these AI plays, find some of these RWA plays, find some of these privacy plays, swing trade them, and not passively hold any Bitcoin. Like, I think, like we spoke about, if you're worth millions, it probably makes sense, right? And then you could borrow against it, lend against it in future years, and you're probably laughing, right? But ultimately, I think I don't see well where Bitcoin goes above 2.5x from here. I genuinely don't. In the next sort of 3 to 5 years, I really don't see that happening. And the performance of not only Bitcoin, but Ethereum and Solana over the last few months has really proven that people, like, if you can't see that as well happening in real time, like, it's obvious where you should be looking. It's those tokens that we spoke about. It's the Zcashes, it's the Hyperliquids, it's the new tokens like Serve and VVV, Near as well. Like, I know Near is down ultimately from its all-time high, and don't get me wrong, like, it's crazy, but this shows you, like, off the lows, you could have been up like 2.6x off the lows, Craig. Bitcoin's belly up, what, 20%? Bitcoin's up 25%. Like, I get it. It's a different asset. I get it. But you get what I mean. Like, if I feel I really am leaning down the world where it makes no sense for me really to, I could add like 25 grand of Bitcoin at between 60 and 70K, but I don't know if that's worth it. Why don't I take that money and use it to do other things or trade on-chain opportunities? Like, that's generally how I'm starting to feel. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I bought a house, like, and I said this previously, like, maybe if I hadn't bought a house and I had hundreds of thousands of dollars to maybe put into the market, yeah, I'd probably buy 2 or 3 Bitcoin and just leave it there, right? I don't have that anymore. So I need to be more active because I probably want to try and outperform just the big stuff. And I mean, if you look at ETH too, like, ETH looks, I'm getting more bearish on ETH every day that passes, bro. I mean,
the timeline has been smashing Ethereum.
I've been saying this for ages, bro. This is the bearish chart, the most bearish chart in crypto. Okay, it's literally done nothing since 2021. It had a multi-year swing failure pattern. I literally said here, unless you have confirmation above that level, this is very macro bearish for Ethereum. You have, and we've got an article because I really want to talk about this too. Hold on, my tab is just delaying here. Give me a sec. Hopefully it comes up. Come on, computer. There we go. So 8 senior members have departed the organization in 2026, with 5 leaving in May alone, Craig. You've got old mate Vitalik and the company selling a shit ton of Ethereum all year long. I get it as and Zeneca said this. We've had multiple people say this, and they're compounding what I've kind of believed for a long time. Ethereum as an infrastructure makes a lot of sense. You've got a lot of adoption with DeFi. You've got a lot of adoption with heavy wealth going to EVM, right?
Mm-hmm.
L2s are dying. There's no doubt about that. Okay, look at Mega ETH. I'm not even going to talk about abstract's weakness. I'm going to talk about Mega ETH. That's proof of the fucking pudding right there, right? That has been horrible. Okay.
Yeah, that was a
There's
failed
no
experiment mostly, wasn't it?
exactly.
Yeah,
And
we
like,
tried, it didn't
I'm
work.
not here to FUD. And I think I'm just commenting on facts, analysis, and what's actually happened.
Well, yeah, and I think, like you said, you're basing off what's happening rather than what you think will happen now. We've got long enough to now be able to start to speculate about what's happening, not what might, and that's what you're kind of talking about here. Sorry, Greedy, you continue.
No. I agree with that. And like the point is like the infrastructure makes sense, and you could argue it's bullish for particularly base as well. Like being so cheap and not having a native token is probably bullish, right?
Yes.
For base. It being linked to Coinbase, it also being linked to all these AI agents, virtuals, OpenServe, all of this stuff. Like that's very bullish for people building in the AI world and wanting a token distribution. Like we've seen it, a banker, like we've seen it for months now, or years nearly. Like virtuals was around in 2024, so it's been 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
For me, ETH is losing its, and this is where it worries me as a NFT holder on Ethereum, Craig. But anyways, point being, people are leaving, team is selling. No one's really trading on there anymore. DeFi, yeah, DeFi. Like the DeFi will move wherever. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Infrastructure, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but that doesn't like translate to the token go up. And I think that's a big issue that a lot of people are still trying to understand. I feel like I would nearly, and this is the point, I would rather own tokens or NFTs on ETH because they probably outperform in USD, like compared to Ethereum outperforming those assets on the chain or base, or you get my point, or lower layer twos. Not that I'm really going to be looking at layer twos anymore.
No. I think the layer two, that experiment, have we seen a layer two really kick ass yet?
Not Arbitrum was back in the day, you could say, but like not for a long time.
Yeah, not for
base. I would say base is doing fairly well. I don't know. I haven't looked at fees. I haven't looked at volume, but I would say I'll have a look. I'll have a look and get the facts.
So maybe base, but other than that, no one's really done anything useful. I suppose with Ethereum, do you think a lot of people are thinking now, what's the point of owning the native chain, like the gas token? You think, maybe people are thinking, what's the point of owning the actual underlying asset, or the underlying chain rather, versus the actual asset on the chain? Which is kind of an interesting way of thinking about it, isn't it? It's like that people want the software, but don't so much want the token associated with the software, being Ethereum, which is kind of fair enough. Like, if you like the software, you don't really have to own the token of the software, I suppose. I
might be a bit different, because a few people are like, oh, Greeny, like, do you like to DCA into dips on ETH and Solana? I'm like, no, dude. Like, I would rather buy ETH or buy Sol when I look to buy another token, rather than hold them during particularly this year, in this period of time, rather than just hold them because I will potentially use them in the future. Like, if I'm out of a position, say it's some of those low cap meme coins we spoke about previously, some of these AI tokens, if I take profit, sometimes I won't even rotate back to ETH. I will rotate back to stables and sit in stables on my Raby wallet, my MetaMask wallet, my Phantom wallet. I'll literally have more stables than Solana or Ethereum. And yeah, sure. Look, Greeny, you're spending more money. You're converting. You might lose money against AUD compared to USD. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Like, I admit that. I'll have a shit ton more transactions. I'll have to pay my accountant more money because I'll be dealing with that, right? I get the trade-off. But point being, I'm protecting myself because I feel like it's so bearish. I don't know. It's very tough. It's a very interesting dynamic at the moment. And I agree. Like, and Hugo says this, I know you're a trader, Greeny, but there's no interest in owning BTC as an asset and just park it away for long term. Not with less than, if you can't own at least one Bitcoin, in my opinion, like for me to own one Bitcoin now, because that's the thing, in Australian dollars, one Bitcoin is quite a lot of money, Craig. What is it right now? Like 100 and something grand.
I haven't looked in so long, man.
Let me have a look, guys. I'll tell you. But
probably 100 grand.
It's 110 grand to own one Bitcoin in Australia. Like, that's a lot of money, particularly if you're running a business, particularly if you bought a house, etc. So point being, I think I would outtrade, and we spoke about this last week. I wrote it through a few tweets over the weekend. It's like, I feel like maybe I can outtrade that a little bit better than just passively. It's different. Like in a bull market, when we were trading last cycle on Ethereum or Solana, you would rotate back into the token because it was generally going up, particularly Solana. Like it was when I made my Mad Lad trade, I was like, you know what? Okay, Mad Lads have probably exhausted here. I've made 175 soul from one Mad Lad, I think it was. And I was like, you know what? It looks as though Mad Lad, the NFT, is probably going to come down. I'll hold the Solana now. And I think Solana had moved from about $25 to $30 where I got in up to about $100 that stage. And I was like, well, no, hold on. I still think this has a long way to go. So I turned that and that's, you got to conversely think like against the token itself as well as the USD value, because you could be losing out by holding an NFT that's going down, not only in the, like Craig, the Pudgy Penguins, the Pudgy Penguin I bought last year, I bought it for 11 ETH last year. I sold it for 4 ETH. So I lost 12 grand US, but I lost 7 ETH in the process. 7 ETH is that's a lot of money in certain periods of time of a cycle. So the point being is like, I just want to talk about this and how crypto is evolving. And I mean, the chat's kind of agreeing. Like Rain literally says right there, bye-bye BTC and ETH and XRP. Hello, AI, RWA and privacy. I mean, it's so apparent. Like, look at the tokens that are bouncing hardest. Look at the tokens that have the most volume. Look at the places people are looking to trade. And look at base right here. Like, it's up. So this is TVL. Look, we topped in October last year. TVL's barely down, Craig, from the top last year. Look at this, 5.3 billion. TVL right now is 4.5 billion. People haven't left base. Like that's proof of the pudding there that it's grinding up over time. Okay, we have a look. DEX volume is increasing over the past how long is this period? Over the past 2 weeks. You have a look here, it's still earning a lot of fees. For me, it just makes a lot of sense. Stablecoin market cap is down 1% in the past 7 days, so not a lot. But it just shows you that perhaps the trades are no longer the majors unless you're dealing with a larger portfolio. I know that's maybe always been like, oh, it's Greeny, that's a popular take. Yeah, you always you have to actively trade to make money. And I'm an example of that from last cycle, turning 4 figs into 7+. But the point being, like, it's even more apparent now because you can't just throw a dart at the dartboard and pick random altcoins or meme coins that'll just thrive, right? I generally don't think we'll ever see a time, Craig, where you could go, all right, I'm going to own Giga, Mog, SPX, Bonk, Whiff, Pepe. I'm going to hold them for 6 months to 12 months, and I'm going to make money. I don't think that's going to happen again. And similar to 2021, I'm going to own AVAX, Link, Matic, whatever else back then, and they're going to go up. Okay, I really think you have to. We were speaking about this last week. Sorry, I'm not trying to go on a rant, but the point being, like we spoke about this last week, how we're going back to a time where it's like, no, you actually have to do a bit of research to find tokens that are fundamentally strong, technically strong, fit the narrative, have a business model, are making revenue, and they're the ones that'll probably outperform over the next 5 years. Thoughts? There's a lot to unpack there, but thoughts?
Yeah, look, my thoughts. I think a little bit differently to you. I think if you look at this time in the market, it's very easy to say things like, "Oh, I wouldn't hold majors. I think they're done," because obviously Bitcoin's on a downward trend now, and I agree. I wouldn't hold Bitcoin now. I think we go lower. I think we go lower than 59K. So yeah, I agree with you in this moment of time, in this pocket of time, holding majors would not be wise. And there's more exotic, further down the risk curve plays that are going to outperform the majors because all the majors are in a bear market right now. Like Bitcoin's probably in the midst of its mid bear market. So yeah. Mid bear market, Bitcoin is not the play. You obviously I would say you want to be DCAing into Bitcoin, if anything, or financial advice, slowly. Or if you want to actually make money, look for the more exotic plays because Bitcoin, I think, is probably still going to trend down for, I think, probably another 6 months, man. 3 to 6 months.
That's interesting. We're bearish in different ways, which is funny. Like you're bearish in price, I'm more bearish in time. I don't think we dump as far. I think we chop though. I do think we chop.
Yeah. I'm not one of those people that says this time's different until it's different. And I'm just going off past bear markets, past bull markets and past bear markets. And the conversation we're having right now about even things like, Bitcoin might be over, Solana might be over, Ethereum might be over. These are similar things that I heard in 22. in the bear market. These are similar conversations that are happening again. And people got sick. And that's one of the reasons why meme coins kicked off, because everyone got sick of failed promises about altcoins. So then everyone went, you know what, fuck altcoins, they're a bunch of liars. We're going to move away from utility, and everyone went full degen. We don't give an F about utility anymore. And we kind of saw where that took us, and it took us to a bad place, right? And we went too far to the non-utility points. And now we're coming back and we're recentering. But by recentering, we're actually going more to what I think's the right, which is more utility-based play. So utility-based plays right now are having a little mini bull market because they were so not frowned upon, but ignored for the last bull run. The last bull run, total shite was glorified.
Yeah.
Solana and meme coins, because it was kind of a vote with people's wallets against the VCs who launched altcoins. So it was a vote against that. It was a stand, right? And I think we're seeing the opposite now, which we're seeing obviously the compass come back, a return to revenue generating models, white papers and things like that. But my prediction is, as soon as money starts to rotate and it starts to rotate back to Bitcoin, I think people's idea of Bitcoin will change as well. And I think that's when you'll see pumps. And I think you will see a rotation back to Bitcoin. I think it's just going to take time. And I think people sometimes can mistake a moment in time with the rest of all time, or this is how it is now. And this is how it is now. I find in crypto, it can be quite quick. But certainly I agree with you in the fact that there's better opportunities in the market now than Bitcoin if you want higher returns and quicker returns, certainly. But I think there will be a rotation back to Bitcoin eventually when people seek a little bit of safety. Because from my point of view, the pockets of scenes we see now, typically in markets, eventually they'll come to an end. I'm not saying this AI run will come to an end, but it will. Hype will have a pullback. All of these things will have a pullback, and the money's going to go somewhere. I know everyone doesn't want me to say that, Greeny. It will end, just like everything ends. Meme coins ended, altcoins ended, yada, yada, yada.
Chat. Craig said last week that AI has no ceiling. Now he's changing his tune. He's changing his tune.
An unknown ceiling. Unknown. It will be known at some point. It will be
I
known.
agree. Hey, we do. Hey, on this channel, everybody knows we're very cautious and we're very pragmatic, educational, analysis based, not financial advice. I'm just being tongue in cheek. Craig, thoughts though? BTC dominance is up 3% since since March, really. Ultimately, what we saw last cycle was BTC dominance went all the way to 66% there, literally all the way from lows way back here in 2022 at 39%, right? This is a big reason you will never ever see an altcoin season again, because there's just too much strength in Bitcoin's chart. Would you what's your target here? Like, do you think Bitcoin dominance continues to go up? Because if we have a look, Ethereum dominance is literally down 30% since September last year, so since the highs last year. This is just losing and losing and losing over time. And if we look at Solana dominance as well, it has now broken a macro level, which was spoken about over a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Point being, it's an interesting one for me. I genuinely think, of course, I think Bitcoin is king. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. The point being is I just feel like there's going to be better, more consistent opportunities, particularly like the difference last cycle was that Bitcoin was worth 15,000 to 30,000 for a long period of time. Like, that's still easy for a lot of people to get into that. And it traded 4x to 7x, depending on where you got in that region. I don't think you see more than a 3x from here would be, I don't know. I don't think that's 200 and something $1,000. I don't think you get that high personally. I think maybe 150, 180. That's the level I get interested. So like, look, it's a different strategy. It's a different strategy for what you are in your life. Like, if we start a family, maybe I'll be more conservative. Maybe I won't be here clicking buttons on low cap base AI tokens, you know? I don't know. It's just very interesting because when you look at a chart like this, Craig, it makes you literally go, why the fuck do I even bother looking at Bitcoin every day? Why am I not literally trying to find AI research base or RWA or privacy tokens that are absolutely thriving? Like, look at this chart, bro. Another new all-time high. for Venice AI, VVV. They continue to ship adoption. They have real world users and making a shit ton of money on their revenue from their subscriptions. Insane, dude. 886. This hits a billy very soon. I mean, the FDV is already at 1.5 billion, Craig. Virtuals ran to 1.3 billion. Virtuals ran to 3 billion last cycle. I think AI is disrupting all of this. And like, it's top-down effect. And I'll show the near chart as well against Bitcoin, because it's breaking out for the first time since 2022. But like, when you look at charts like this, Craig, it makes you want to, it makes me really go, well, why am I even wasting my time holding Solana, Ethereum, or Bitcoin? I don't know. Like, we're in a bear market, bro. We're in a bear market, and those are still showing me bear market signs. Meanwhile, you got shit like this that's doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it comes down to how much money you have and what your trading strategy is, whether it's long term, short term, etc., etc. I'll tell you the time people are going to prefer to be in Bitcoin than these. When these pull back 100%, when these pull back 90%, and people top blast it, that's when people go, fuck, I should have stayed in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's not going to pull back 90% from here. So that's the people that are going to understand the value of Bitcoin. But for a moment in time, the people in these will be right. I would say for longer, the people in Bitcoin will be right if you were to take it over 10 years. So it depends on your trading outlook. If it's years, Bitcoin wins. If it's months, these win. But I agree with you. If you're a trader and you want to make money at the moment, this is where your attention should be. And it looks like this will be longer than just I don't think this is a flash in the pan. So I certainly don't want people to think with what I'm saying right now, I'm not like this is a pump and dump. That's not what I'm saying. I put a comment on GTG saying for the first time in a while, I think I might put some cash or fiat into the market, and it's full this. It's so I can afford to start because I've got a fair bit on the sideline, man. And I've been waiting for things to pull back and stuff like that, and waiting for opportunities before I do it, because I'll be tempted to spend it when I put it in, basically. And I haven't put money in the market since 24. I don't think I've put money in the market for at least a year and a half. So it'll be the first time I put it in. So even though I just said everything I said,
maybe you're nervous. Maybe it's always hard to go back to the gym for the first time. It's always hard to go for a run the first time. It's often the second, the third time where you're like, oh no, yeah, okay, I'm all good here. It's the same with trading. Getting back into it, it's a different mindset.
Good way to talk about it.
It's different sleeping pattern. Like, I fucking first thing. Sorry for swearing so much. I'm just excited. First thing I do every morning now is literally, what's open so bad?
Yeah, bro. I remember those days. It's part of the reason I haven't done it, actually, is so I could get some sleep. But I'm hitting that point now where I am keen to start gambling again. So I'm going to try get some money into the market so I can actually start to bid these. So if everyone can just hold off buying, please. But maybe let's look at some entries here, Greedy. Because that's probably the hardest part, isn't it? With these running something hard, is how do you get in? Where?
Yeah, because this was a conversation Craig and I were having before the show, to give you a bit of context. Because Craig was like, look, I want to have exposure to some of this. And I mean, I'm still sidelined to Venice AI. Like, I don't have exposure here, just to be transparent. It's so difficult. And that's the query. And so let's talk from our experience. Like, what sort of decisions can you make? Because arguably you're top blasting into something. I mean, it's so hard, and it could be very wrong, and that's the thing, as a trader, you need to Vibing Cat's roasting Craig in the chat. Runs a trading show and hasn't put money into the market in a year and a half.
I'll answer that by saying this: I haven't needed to, because I made so much money from it, man, over the last 2 years.
And he's got exposure. No, he bought 3 mutants. He's got an ape. Like, he's put plenty of money into the market, Vibing Cat. But he also...
I meant new money.
But I agree. Point being, you want to be trading when there's lucrative opportunities. And lucrative opportunities are generally more in a bull market condition. So I agree. I took my finger off the pulse for a long time there. Like, I've only recently, probably over the last month, maybe, over the past month, have I been... pressing buttons and literally, I'm literally right now about to move more money on chain. So I have more money in my Solana wallet as well as my Ethereum wallet. So Yeah, the point being, Craig, like it's hard to find an entry on these because they're just absolutely thriving, and ultimately, like this is the thing, like in right market conditions, with and I will argue we have an unknown ceiling with AI, but we're
Mm.
so early to this in a Web 2 and a Web 3 sense. Something like this at 800 million could be worth, I don't know, again, speculation. This could be worth 5 billion in a year's time. Like, and that's a 5x from here still, right? More than that. It's about a, I don't know what, like a 7x or something. Like, but finding an entry is really hard. And also you don't want to be top blasting into these things when they're literally at all-time highs after they've already pumped 25x off the lows. So what are the sort of strategies you like to look for? It's harder. I know I'll talk on this. It's harder to do this, and I think that's where Craig's really struggling because he's still bearish on Bitcoin. He's still bearish on market time. He's still bearish on market conditions, and I would argue I'm the same. Bitcoin doesn't look that healthy. ETH and Sol are breaking sort of levels I don't really like to see, as in they probably retest lower parts of the range that we've been in since Feb, or they potentially go lower. But what we've seen is in the same time frame, literally, look at that. Literally, VVV dumped. It bottomed the same time that crypto, the rest of the market tops. Look at that, late 2025. It bottomed here. All right. It's now up here where Bitcoin and everything else is in a corrective move. So the point being is, it's like there's opportunities out there if you can find them, and this further alludes me now to the point of why am I even bothering allocating 20% of my portfolio into spot holds. Like it's again, different story. I have all the time. I have 24 hours a day that I could be looking at the markets, trade markets. So I'm very different. I'm probably the top 0.1% of people because I love this shit. I'm addicted to this stuff. It's my job more so to trade, make money, find analysis, all that sort of stuff. But I really I keep thinking that there's just so much upside here, Craig. Like when you think about it, we've already ChatGPT, Claude, they are the most disruptive technologies. They have like I'll try and find a chart. Do you want to comment on that? How do you find an entry on tokens that are doing very well? Or do you just avoid it and you try and find the next opportunity? What are your thoughts on that?
I'd either go down the risk curve and I look at the next plays after these, or I'd look for opportunities on the actual leader or winner. And with something like this, I'm probably more tempted to go into the leaders here.
Yes,
but,
yes, definitely.
but as far as pullbacks go, whoa, man, it's tricky, dude. I mean, typically I'd look for maybe trying to get try to get an entry at about the midway point or the 50% level. But I don't think I'm going to get that on here, man. I don't think I'm going to get a retest of that midway point. So looking at it now, probably the 382, man, if I'm lucky.
I'll pull that up shortly. Here is the chart I was trying to find before. The rate of adoption of users, so humans, using different points of technology over time. Look at ChatGPT. Insane. It's not even you can't even compete. Within 100 days, it had 10 to the 8th power more users than Instagram. That was 1,000 days. Spotify,
Crazy,
1,500. Netflix, 3,000. Twitter, 2,000.
Wow.
Like, this is the point that I'm saying. It's like we can't even comprehend the upside of AI.
No.
The worry, though, is when Anthropic, OpenAI, even SpaceX, when these trillion-dollar companies come to market as an IPO, that people are going to sell, but they will rotate surely. Like money doesn't leave the investing scene; it just rotates into.
Mhm.
It could be bonds, it could be property, it could be stocks, it could be Bitcoin, it could be anything, right? But Craig, isn't this chart just it's scary? It's scary.
That is unreal. Spotter, even beating Spotter, like, yeah, pretty incredible how fast tech's taking over these days, eh? Like, that is scary, dude. The world's fast, man. That is really fast. Like, what, less than 500 days and it beats all of those? Like,
Dude, I would say that's less than 100 days and it's got 100 million users. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to slam some money in, eh? Vibing Cat, I got you, man. Don't worry. I'm going to top last.
Okay. So, yeah, if we go back in VVV, yeah, look, you have to be looking at a swing. So, like, for example, you could take this low here because that's the crucial low where we broke out above previous highs, retested, then went bananas. You would take the swing from that probably low to that current swing high, the high before this high. And you'd be looking at, well, what fibs do we pull back into? And we pull back into the 0.5 of that swing fib. Now, ultimately, the hard part about this is you need to understand this is why the GTG framework works really well because it literally, you should have an invalidation. You should know what your thesis is. Thesis being, is this an active trade or is this me buying and holding for 2 months, for 6 months, for a year? Okay, whatever it is, you go through the GTG framework steps to establish that exact understanding. Point being, if this was an active trade, well, then you're probably going to have a very aggressive stop loss. Okay. Your stop loss would probably be, well, ultimately, if I start to see it close below the golden pocket, it's probably going to trade back towards these levels here. If you have more of a longer term horizon, then perhaps you're buying the 0.5. Your stop loss, in theory, you don't have to have it actually in place, but your stop loss in theory would probably be below this crucial low that took us from sort of from the 370 mark up to the 600, 700 mark, right? So, I mean, your upside, who knows? Who knows where the upside really is? But the point being, that's how you could trade as a more longer term. So that's how I would look to find entries if that's more of a longer term. If it's a shorter term, I mean, this is a 3-day chart. If it's a shorter term, you're watching the reaction literally when it comes into crucial levels, right? This is an hour chart, and I'll go the 4-hour. This is the 4-hour chart. So you could be watching this little trend here, and then you're waiting for a market structure break and then trading the breakout, right? So for example, you had that breakout, you then have the higher low where it retests the previous high there. So you had we went lower. You could have looked for bullish divergences here on RSI. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking at it. I mean, that's a wedge forming there. Okay, it broke out higher. It then came back and retested. So you had a beautiful chance to set this higher low off the previous resistance over here. Let me make it nice and clear for you guys so you can see. You had that rejection here, right? So we're coming down. We then went above that. That's why price I stopped there for a period because it was just retesting this previous high here. Had that structure change. We then retested a couple times and then you went ballistic. So that could have been, this is a really active opportunity, right? This could have been a trade where you have a stop loss below the current low because in theory you've had a structure change, and if it trades back below here, that's another structure change back to bearish after being a bearish to bullish change. You're targeting back towards the highs and probably even higher. And sure enough, there you have a risk to reward of nearly 3 just from a very simple market structure break after a breakout. You would have wanted to see volume come in. It eventually came in, okay, and took it way higher. And sure enough, you could have been up over 3 R&R from that. So that's probably 2 different ways you could take an approach. The second being very much an active approach. The first being more of a passive spot macro approach. Even then, I would still be cautious because you're aping into something that's up 25x in the past few months, right? So that's how I would treat it. I mean, serves arguably similar. It's reaching potential levels here where it obviously has its price discovery, and that's the other thing, Craig. When a token reaches price discovery, and we can have a look at the Hyperliquid chart because it's in a very crucial level right now. When charts reach price discovery, it's hard. Like people are like, oh, I want to short it. And I'm like, no, you really shouldn't look to short things that are in price discovery because they're in price discovery. So you don't even know where the upside on that bloody thing could be, right? And it's in uncharted territory. It's obviously bullish for a reason. You back that with volume, and sure enough, people blast into a breakout higher above all-time highs. I mean, Trader Main, arguably one of the most important and influential calls on CT, literally says one of his favorite trading strategies is an all-time high breakout, and you trade that because it's into volume, it's into a breakout, it's into uncharted territory. So your upside is who knows? There is no ceiling in a sense, right? So I mean, Hyperliquid's getting to that right now, or it's currently at that right now, and obviously VVV is similar right now as well. But Serve is approaching that, and we spoke about this literally at 14 mil. I shared in GTG, I shared my analysis and my research at 14 mil. Dove in a little bit deeper. I've got exposure obviously from 14 mil, 26 mil. I DCA'd at 36 mil. I even bought some over the weekend. Again, the biggest thing for me now is because I'm so ruthless with my trading is if I see this go up 2, 3, 4, 5x, the trader in me just goes, get out, bro. But the investor in me goes, you're so early to a potential monumental opportunity, right? And that's the balance I'll now have to deal with is like, because I'm so used to so like I'll have to distract myself by trying to make money in other ways so that I'm not thinking that this is a big portion of the trade. So yeah, a similar strategy here, like is you would be just watching the breakout, right? So if you go down to low time frames, I mean, it's a strong impulsive move. Like if you take a breakout, okay, if we take, oh, I got the magnet on. If you take a, like the swing low to the swing high, if it comes back and only retests, say the 382 or the 0.5, where's my 382? There it is. And it bounces from there. That's a strong trend. Okay. So there you go. Like from this swing low to the swing high, we bounce exactly the 0.5. We went high. Okay. Let's do it again. Okay. From the swing low, how far did we pull back in this one? All right. And this just shows you the strength of an uptrend, right? This one went a little bit deeper, but where did it come into? Golden pocket. And then it went higher, right? Point being is every time this pulled back, it's still set a higher low, maintain the strength, and it's in an impulsive move. This one went a little bit lower. This might have gone to the 786, right? So those are the sort of opportunities. It's like, okay, well, ultimately you'd be watching that and then seeing what price does at these levels. Don't get me wrong. I was actually pretty bearish here. I think it was late last week when it broke here. I actually de-risked when it broke. Okay. And I said, well, I was like, oh, hold on a minute. I want to see if volume comes in here. And if it reclaims, then my thesis changes because it's reclaimed this bearish potential breakdown. And obviously volume came in a little bit lower when it took it higher, but it reclaimed that and pushed back up. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. Okay. I sold, took a bit of profit here. I think it was like 40-ish mil after being at 14 and 25 sort of million entry. And I was like, you know what? This looks like it wants to put in a bit of a greater correction down to the downside. It didn't. It reclaimed. I was like, okay, well, I'll just buy more here after selling here. And there's nothing wrong with that because I was being active in the trade at the time, watching the chart, seeing what it was doing in real time. So yeah, that's probably how I would suggest you look for entries. But I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard to find something like this because you just don't know, man. Like the fundamentals on something like this is absolutely insane. Like companies, the UAE government is literally already using this and it's at a $60 million market cap. I'm sorry. Like the fundamentals, spend a bit of time learning about it because it's actually insane. It is actually insane. Now, there's obviously an ecosystem. It's also a launch pad for those people that maybe don't understand. This is, what do you mean by, is this live, Dave? This is live, bro. We are live right now. Hey, bro, Dave, I'm live right now. This isn't recorded, bro. I'm talking to you live right now.
I'm talking to you.
Dave, I am calling you out right now. Appreciate you tuning in, mate. But yeah, we are live. We're live every day, same time. Yeah, great. Love to see it. The ecosystem is thriving. So I'll throw a little bit. Here's a low cap one that I shared in GTG as well. So Router it was launched. So it's a launch pad within the OpenServe ecosystem. So arguably virtuals is similar to what OpenServe are doing, but they're actually bringing proper. I mean, virtuals turned into a little bit more of a meme coin casino in terms of, I'm running an AI agent, buy my token. Yeah. This AI agent, like there's a heap of them launched. Whereas this is actually fundamental businesses. This Router's an AI privacy. It's at 3 million here after a breakout. But yeah, I mean, I was scaling into this around this level. I know, again, some of those, my favorite influencers, not favorite influencers, but some of the people who stay up to date with trends are talking about this one as well and have been for a while. So look, there's opportunity out there. And that's what I mean, Craig. Like, why wouldn't I throw $5,000 at this rather than hold Bitcoin $5,000 when it could go lower or when it's only going to move up 10% in the next 3 months? Like, it makes so much more sense to actively trade the market in the world that this is why I fell in love with crypto in the first place. There's opportunities every single fucking day. How insane is that? That's insane.
Crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, this one looks like a good one too, Router, I reckon. So what? It's a privacy play, yeah. So
yes.
So it's a swap. It's a privacy swap or something.
Yeah, no. So the first cryptographically private AI platform powered by Arcrium, which is humanity's supercomputer, the sovereign fabric for finance and AI. It's got 120K followers on Twitter. And OpenServe AI, which is obviously an AI agent infrastructure for enterprises, governments, and the autonomous economy, production-grade reasoning engine running real workloads at scale. And they don't even talk about their learning module is in here as well, and how they companies, governments, etc., could save that, like, so much money. I mean, that was the point too with OpenServe at the weekend. Is like, try and find the tweet. No, but this is super bullish. They now have over 120 projects working with Serve directly. UAE government, and the crazy part, I can't remember his name. He's got the same ape as me. But he said he spoke to some of the UAE government over the weekend, and they are literally using OpenServer. He's like, oh my god. Where is it here? So Builds is another one that they just launched as well via the ecosystem of OpenServe. So if you own more than 50K OpenServe, you get exposure to these new launches on the platform. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. So sorry, I'll go, but like 103,000 total requests. Literally, look at that scale, Craig. At the 1st of May, they had, let's say, a couple hundred. Now they have 15K per day requests, which is pretty crazy on their platform. They obviously partnered with an ex-Google employee as an advisor. Where's the tweet? Where's the chart? It was Microsoft. I think I shared it. Hold on. It was this point here. Here it is. Yeah. Oh no, so, yeah, it was someone else. So Microsoft just literally admitted that they can't afford AI. In other words, top 5 most valuable companies in the world just painted the clearest buy signal you've ever seen. Again, not financial advice. I'm reading someone else's words. In this exact pain point, Serve is solving cost and reliability of AI at an enterprise scale. Here, it literally said Microsoft canceled its internal Claude Code licenses this week after the token-based billing made the cost untenable, even for a company with effectively infinite cloud resources. Uber's CTO also sent an internal memo warning to the company, burned through its entire 2026 AI budget in just 4 months, Craig. Point being, again, this is just fundamental. I've done a lot of research into this, and it's just crazy to think, well, maybe this is just a longer term approach. But anyways, the point being, this ecosystem is thriving. And when you see comments like this about actual use cases of literally arguably top 10 companies in the world, Microsoft.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's potential.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless to the podcast people out there. My arms are in the air and I don't know. So anyways, the ecosystem launchpad, it's pretty sick. So yeah, there's some low cap ones. This one's obviously the privacy one. There's some other ones as well. I'm not going to bring them up on stream, but I have a whole watch list that I'm looking at, and we talk about in GTG every day. So for me specifically, that yeah, it's fun, dude. I love this stuff. Crypto has so much opportunities, and when you talk about this chart that was brought up before, Craig, where the adoption of not only 1 million users, which is your first dot here, but the 100 million users is there. It's just astronomical where the world is heading with AI. It is, you can't even compute this as a day-to-day human. Like, you literally can't. You can't.
No, this is probably this little this pocket of AI, if you want to call it a pocket. Maybe it's not a pocket, but maybe you sort of get the feeling this is going to print a few millionaires, eh?
Oh,
like there's a few people who are going to be in early, who are going to be. I think you're going to see some pretty crazy P&Ls soon from these. There's nothing else that's going to give you a P&L like these. What? No. Nothing. Meme coin's gone. Major's gone.
Oh, the odd meme coin, sure. You're always going to have a runner, blah, blah, blah. But, dude.
No one you know in the timeline with any credibility is going to have a good
honestly, my whole timeline has moved away from that world, and I'm so thankful.
I don't even see that, bro, to be honest. Meme coin, I haven't seen a good meme coin P&L in ages from someone.
No.
Not even a scammer. I haven't even seen scammer ones come up. Yeah. Not that I follow them. I'm just saying I haven't even seen it come across my desk. So, yeah, I think you're gonna see some crazy P&Ls. I mean, I know they'll be out there now, but I mean there'll be some crazy. I think there'll be crazy P&Ls in the next 6 months for these. So, yeah, really good calls. I'm keen. I just need some money in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot happening. But anyways, back to the Hyperliquid chart. It's coming into a very crucial level, right? I've got a tweet scheduled for tonight. I'm not going to reveal it on the show because I want you to follow me, Greeny Trades on Twitter. But I've got this chart comparing another chart that did something very similar. If you can put the pieces together, you might be able to figure it out. But this is a very important level here for Hyperliquid. If you can't see strength above this level with sustained volume and confirmation, so like confirmation would be maintaining, basically price needs to maintain above $58, okay? Would probably be the level that I would want to see it maintain. If it can't hold above this level, then yeah, it's a worry because this could easily trade back down into fair value, right? Fair value being wherever the bloody where's my anchored VWAP? Fair value could be $36, right? So that's obviously going to come up in time as it continues to be above the fair value. of volume. But yeah, I don't know, Craig. Potential swing failure pattern is what I'm trying to say here with Hyperliquid. If it doesn't show strength at these levels.
Yeah, man, this has been an absolute cook, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of the usual suspects posting about it. It's been a great trade. I'm not really itching to get into this like I am the AI tokens. But I've said that for a while, and I said that I think I could have got an entry at about 32, I think, and I faded it because I wanted 26 or something around there from memory, and the market didn't give it to me, unfortunately, and I really probably should have bought there. So maybe I'm just coping now by saying this, but this isn't as strong on my radar as the other ones you pulled up earlier. Mainly because of the amount of people I see talking about it. But maybe that's not a bad thing either. Maybe that's not a bad thing either. So yeah, but I'm a bit more cautious top lasting this bad boy. What's Hugo saying? Lots of unstaking coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts on that, Greenie? What are your thoughts? I mean, you kind of just said your concerns.
It's hard, dude. It's hard, man. Like it's hard. Like, where's the 1.27? Yeah, $70. Yeah. It's hard, bro. It's actually genuinely hard to see.
Like if you're in this, like Hugo said, comfy and hype, you'll be comfy. Like if you got a good entry, man, you would have scaled out. Not a financial advice. I would have scaled out into the all-time high, and then probably just wait to swing trade and buy back lower again.
I think that's the strategy for me. It's like, look, with the staking unlocks and whatnot, you might see a bit of sell pressure. I mean, it'd be pretty dumb for people not to, and that's the fundamental.
Yeah, that's where my mind's at. Like me, if I was in this, I'd be scaling. I'm not saying I'd sell my whole bag, but I'd be taking profit at all-time high, no doubt about it. So that's why this one I'm sort of cautious, because I think people got entries on this. I think people had entries. Whereas,
a lot of people have entries. And like
people had entries in serves, man. I don't think people have an entry in VVV. I don't think they had one. They didn't know about it. So that's why people are top lasting that. Whereas I think hype's been on our radar for. I mean, we were talking about hype with Eli a year ago. So
it's ever since it launched, it's been on everyone's radar.
So I just feel hype for me. I feel I'm not going to say I feel I'm a bit late. So I think there's still opportunity for money to be made. I want to see this dump a bit, bro. I still want this, but it's too much strength again. Amazing, isn't it? In a bear market, man, this thing's just overperforming in the biggest way. I didn't think this would be happening in this market, but yeah, dude, shows there's still money out there. People still want to punt.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I would love to. I mean, I was shorting this previously as well from that previous high, like back here in this range. I shorted it multiple times, but I was very aggressive because and that's the thing. If you don't understand like the trade and how do I say this? I would love to just take my brain and just sell it. Just be like,
I know what you mean.
It's hard for me sometimes to articulate. Luckily enough, using my teaching degree, I'm used to explaining things in a sense like that. I find a lot of smart people, whatever realm it is, they don't know how to educate. They could be, they're 10 times smarter than me, but they don't know how to tell me what I'm trying to learn or like how to learn what they're not, right? Sort of thing, right? So each are different to their own. What I'm trying to say here is like, every time I was looking to short Hyperliquid, it was only ever a scalp trade, potentially into a swing trade if the trend changed. And the trend never changed. So I was very active with moving my stop loss to break even, moving my stop loss above a lower high, moving it to the next lower high. And then I would get stopped out quite aggressively because I'd wake up the next morning and they'd print a shit ton of revenue or they'd have this or et cetera, right? So you need to each trade. And this is the point that we always talk about and it fits very nicely, again, with the GTG framework. Guys, check it out, GTG, our trading community down below. The point being, Craig, is each trade is different. And I think a lot of people treat everything as the same, and it's literally not. Like abstract meme coins, very different trade to Ethereum or to an NFT like a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people need to learn to differentiate. And if you don't know how to do that, join us in GTG, because I'm more than happy to try and help educate you about that. Now, I do that, most days of the week. So, big level for hype. I would love to short this if it's going to give me an opportunity. I don't know if it gives me an opportunity. That's the main takeaway here that I'm currently looking at.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Shorting into strength is risky. And like you said, who knows where this bad boy is going to go, man? It could go higher.
Yeah.
Could go higher.
Very much.
Yeah, this one I'm kind of just got to be patient with, man. It sucks being patient. It's the hardest thing. It really is. It's so much easier to be in something than wait for something, especially on the timeline when you're just seeing, like for instance, Serve or VVV, just seeing people talk about in the timeline. You're like, motherfuckers, give me an entry, man. And you just gotta, and it's the classic, because you see it on the timeline and everyone's hyped about it, and then you get your entry and it fucking pulls back, and you're like, fuck, and I'm stuck for 2 months. So I'm just, because I remember doing this with Solana in 21. So I'm quite careful with it. But yeah, certainly it's a tricky time at the moment, man. There's not much to get into, but there's a good sort of 5 to 10 that are just looking so good. But because there's nothing else to do, I think everyone's kind of eyeing those up now, which is actually quite a nice time to be trading when everyone's focused on one section too.
But you got to remember too, there's a lot of people that have left crypto, and when they come back, they'll literally plow money into the things that have outperformed, because they're like, oh, well, this is outperformed, it's going to keep going. And like, that's how narratives really scale exponentially.
And that's when you get your real frothy top, don't you? Like your silly blow off top.
Yeah, exactly. This is Asteroid, because someone mentioned it before, is one of the only outperformers for a while. Point being, again, though, you literally had 2 days. You had a 2-day period where you could have caught this between 1 mil and even like mid 50s. The rest, I mean, this has done nothing unless you're trading it, which I do know Mike and GTG has been trading this. So unless you're actively trading from the support to the high, okay, this is a rejection there. I mean, it did it 3 times in a row. So you could have longed, short. I worry about this. I mean, the point being for me on this chart specifically, no volume, probably a lack of interest. This was, I'm pretty sure, an Elon tweet. That's a recipe for disaster. I personally think it probably breaks down, but you never know. I could be wrong. Could bounce from here, support. Could even wick out all these lows and then reclaim and then send if volume comes in. So that's, again, different trade ideas, different trade setups. I shared this with Mike this morning because he asked for an update. And I said, hey, keep an eye on this. This is what I would do in a certain situation, blah, 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 blah. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, that's the only one that's 100 mil, 112.
Like if you were deciding where to put your money, right?
This is a good point.
Why would you put it into a meme coin called Asteroid, where you're waiting for an Elon tweet, when you could buy something with fundamentals like Serve or VVV or Hype that has a revenue generating model that has a purpose, that has a purpose for existing? I just don't know. Like if you were saying to me, okay, Craig, if you were to put money somewhere, your 2 choices are Asteroid or Serve. Man, it's such an easy choice. Like the Asteroids, it's nothing. It's a meme. Like, and I know, like you and I traded memes, so it's quite funny I'm saying that now. Like, whereas you and I made a lot of money on memes, but I just feel times have changed, man. And now that we're going, return to fundamentals, I'm much more comfy with fundamentals and trading a coin that actually 100%. Does something. Like 100%. It's so much. I feel like it's so much safer. Whereas this could just trend to zero. It could never. I mean, this could just never get spoken about again.
It likely does, bro. Like that's the thing.
Like, I mean, if history is anything to go by, this goes to zero. I mean, probably same with the other base coins on AI, but maybe.
Think about any. What's BNB SP? What do you mean by BNB? Is there one on BNB? Is that what you mean for Asteroid? I mean, think about Peanut, Craig. Where's that? Zero. Where's Moon
and that was the most hype. I mean, that was everyone's.
It was crazy, bro. 2 billion in like a couple of weeks.
And what was that hippo called? There was a hippo.
Yeah, Moondeng. Yeah.
Like, no one even talks about it now, man. I would just rather put money into something that actually does something again. I'm kind of glad we've got out of this meme coin phase, man. It was too long. It was fun for a while. Now it's just ridiculous. Like again, it's so hard to win here. It really is.
particularly in these market conditions. So why would you even
Yeah,
bother?
yes. Look, especially while the market's on a downward trend with Bitcoin. Like, I think when a bull market comes back and these silly things are going, yeah, sure, you'll probably you'll get some good runners. But man, imagine being in a Telegram group at the moment trying to find fresh pairs. Meme
Yeah.
coin. Yes, no thanks, man.
Yeah, no, true. Hugo's right. It might get some attention during the SpaceX IPO. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you never know. Like, that's it. But like,
Can you
we,
trade
we
that?
we spoke about this. We spoke about this with Eli before. But what if Elon speaks about, bro? If you're trading on somebody else's tweets, you're not going to be able to do that consistently. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you got to have your sell limits and all that set, man. Because if he talks about it while you're asleep, like us in Australia, and you wake up in the pump and then it's dumped, you miss your exit. Like it just,
Oh, it is a
yeah.
dangerous world. Dangerous world.
But yeah, good
Yeah.
luck out there on that one.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Lots to chat about. Tomorrow we have a trending NFT collection, Good Vibes Club, one of the more recent NFT launches and one of the more successful communities. I can't wait to chat with them because I haven't really ever looked into that ecosystem. So that'll be a
No.
really good conversation. They're joining us live tomorrow from the halfway point of tomorrow's show. But as always, we'll be talking about whatever's popping in markets, whatever's in the AI realm. Craig, I'm going to spend time today setting up my agents via my Mac Mini. That is my task,
Wow.
guys. But if you appreciate this, guys, please drop a follow or subscribe to the channels. Market Mates, Greeny Trades, or Craig's Coin Purse. We very much appreciate it. If you're listening back to the podcast, make sure you click follow so you don't miss an episode as well. They get uploaded at literally an hour or two after we go live at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. And please drop us a little 5-star rating because it does go a long way on the algos on those podcast platforms as well. And yeah, we appreciate all of your guys' support, whether you're here in the live, whether you watch the replays, or whether you listen to the potties. Thanks so much. Any feedback at any time, please let us know. Comment on something, send us a DM on Twitter, Greeny Trades, Craig's Coin Purse, and more than happy to chat about it, to improve something, to talk, give a segment, whatever it is. We also have we'll have partners coming soon. We're late stages of signing partners, which is exciting. So we'll have 2 partners very soon, maybe from next week, from June. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, exciting times for Market Mates. Nice to have a bit of a paycheck coming through again to support us. We've been doing this show free for a long time. But
Yeah,
hey,
it'd be good to be able to keep the lights on, Greeny. I've got these luminous lights in the background, guys. These are expensive.
Hey guys, this is solar. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, Craig, have a lovely Monday, and chat. You have a lovely Monday/Sunday, and we'll be back same time tomorrow.
Cheers, Greeny. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.